Welcome once again, my friends, and thank you for stopping by to listen to an old storyteller. Today we have a story from Australia, and the title of this story is Wayambeh the Turtle. Kola, the lizard, was out getting yams on a Maria flat. She had 3 of her children with her. Suddenly she thought she heard someone moving behind the big Maria bushes. She listened. All of a sudden, out jumped Wayambeh from behind a bush and seized Ula, telling her not to make a noise and he would not hurt her, but that he meant to take her off to his camp to be his wife. He would take her 3 children too and look after them. Resistance was useless, for Ula had only her yam stick, while Wayambeh had his spears and bundis. Wayambeh took the woman and her children to his camp. His tribe, when they saw him bring home a woman to the Ula tribe, asked him if her tribe had given her to him. He said, "No, I have stolen her." "Well," they said, "her tribe will soon be after her. You must protect yourself. We shall not fight for you. You have no right to steal her without telling us. We had a young woman of our own tribe for you, yet you go and steal an Ula and bring her to the camp of the Wayambeh. On your own head be the consequences." In a short time the Ulas were seen coming across the plain which faced the camp of the Wayambeh, and they came not in friendship or to parley, for no women were with them, and they carried no boughs of peace in their bands, but were painted as for war, and were armed with fighting weapons. When the Wayambeh saw the approach of the Ula, their chief said, "Now, Wayambeh, you had better go out onto the plain and do your own fighting. We shall not help you." Wayambeh chose the 2 biggest boorins that he had. One he slung on him, covering the front of his body, and one the back. Then, seizing his weapons, he strode out to meet his enemies. When he was well out onto the plain, though still some distance from the Ula, he called out, "Come on!" The answer was a shower of spears and boomerangs. As they came whizzing through the air, Wayambeh drew his arms inside the boorins and ducked his head down between them, so escaped. As the weapons fell harmless to the ground, glancing off his boorin, out again he stretched his arms and held up his head, shouting, "Come on, try again, I'm ready." The answer was another shower of weapons, which he met in the same way. At last the Ulas closed in round him, forcing him to retreat towards the creek. Shower after shower of weapons they slung at him, and were getting at such close quarters that his only chance was to dive into the creek. He turned towards the creek, tore the front boorin off him, flung down his weapons, and plunged in. The Ula waited, spears poised in hand, ready to aim directly when his head appeared above water. But they waited in vain. Wayambeh, the blackfellow, they never saw again. But in the water-hole wherein he had dived, they saw a strange creature, which bore on its back a fixed structure like a boorin, and which, when they went to try and catch it, drew in its head and limbs. So they said, "It is Wayambeh." And this was the beginning of Wayambeh, or Turtle, in the creeks.
Thank you once again for listening to this story. If you enjoyed this story, please press that like button. Also, please help an old storyteller out by subscribing to my channel. The next story will be posted in a few days, so until then, may your story continue to be a good one.